if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath.
Now we know that the vaccines work well enough that the virus stops with every vaccinated person.
Very fine people on both sides. You mean the laptop is now another Russia hoax?
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing.
It's a lie on a news network, and it's a lie that's that's a lie that they're conscious of.
Hi everybody, and welcome to this episode of Grumpy Old Men. I'm Pinky, and we have, of course, Grumpy as always.
I'm not always that grumpy.
No, we've got a
Great to see you.
sort
again.
of interesting but light-hearted yet serious yet sort of / interesting, I suppose, topic for us.
A mixed
everyone
bag
tonight.
of topics today, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just to lighten it up, because the last episode, with all
it was a very
yeah.
sad episode.
Yeah.
It was a few days ago now,
Yeah.
and
You go check it out. It was unfortunately about some of the incidents that were happening in Sydney.
Yeah.
So let's bring it up a bit today.
Yeah, absolutely. So today we're talking about the classic Donald Trump, who we've all grown to know and love in different ways.
You've got to. I mean, he's a funny guy. I reckon he's a funny guy.
He's a funny topic.
But TDS and well, if you don't know what that means, that's Trump Derangement Syndrome, and his issues with Stormy Daniels at the moment.
That's a pretty hot topic at the moment.
You've been following that one?
Oh, a little bit, yeah.
Yep.
I sort of know a little bit of the history of what happened there. So he's in court now, as we know, facing charges, 34 separate charges of, I guess, are they classing it as fraud? Is that the actual title of the charge?
I'm not 100% sure.
I don't know.
It's basically one charge multiplied
34 times, because he's done the same thing 34
exactly.
times.
Yeah.
So I believe, I may misunderstand that, but I believe it's a breakdown of how he paid his lawyer. So that's the 34. It's 130. That's right. It seems odd to me, because 130 grand to him would be chump change. Why doesn't he just give him that?
Well, now that he's got that Truth Social deal.
Oh, that just lost segueing already. We only just started.
If you've been following the episode, you're probably prepared.
Yeah, it lost like 18 or 20% of its value.
Well, that's standard.
Yeah.
When new crypto coins or new stock come out, they all jump onto it, then it drops.
And didn't everyone's crypto split in half today? Ha!
No.
Here we go. That's going to go nuts. Yeah. But anyway, that's a whole other story.
Correct, yeah. But anyway, bad weekend for me on crypto, but we recovered. Yeah, I think it's a bad weekend for a lot of people. Yeah. But that's all right. It'll bounce back, I'm sure. I'm not a financial expert, so don't take me up on that. And I'm not either.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say you were then. I go, hang on, how come you haven't been giving me advice? I'm slowly going broke and you're sitting there making money.
Oh, that was my advice.
Yeah. So Stormy Daniel. So for those who don't know, there's a to and fro sort of accusation, I suppose you could say, of Donald Trump having an affair with Stormy Daniels back in 2006 when his wife was pregnant.
Correct.
Initially, that was the accusation. She then recanted, and she actually put it into writing and signed that there was no affair. Then she changed her story again. So it's been a lot of to and fro over the years. It's been going on for, well over. It's getting close to 20 years now. Was that 18 years or something?
Close to.
You don't realise that till you do the maths.
I've actually got the letter here that she signed, and if we bring that up.
When was that? 2018.
Yeah.
It was released in 2018.
Yeah, correct,
I don't know when it was signed, but this all came to surface at the time of the election in 2016, and it felt like it was some sort of extortion. So the theory from Trump has always been that it never actually happened, and that this was just a way of quietening down some noise at a time when he needed.
Correct. He was just saying, "Go away, leave me alone. Here's your money and go away.
Here's some money, just leave me alone." And he stood by that to this day. So whether there was an affair or not an affair is not the issue in court right now.
Correct.
That's a social issue where your morals and standards lie, and whose side you want to believe. But what it's about now is his actions after that in regard to money and payments. So that's what it's about in court. So
well, the letter, I'll quickly read it, and part of it's just chopped off. Dated January 30th, 2018. To whom it may concern. Who's it being addressed to?
Yeah, it's an odd letter.
It's a weird thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Over the past few weeks, I've been asked countless times to comment on reports of an alleged sexual relationship I had with Donald Trump many, many, many years ago. The fact of the matter is that each party of this alleged affair denied its existence in 2006, 2011. 2011 has, it says 2011.
It does too. In the future.
Yeah. Well, she's a porn star. She probably can't spell.
Calm down.
2016, 2017.
Apologies to all the porn stars. Do I have to apologise for you every week? Stop hurting people. Stop hurting people's feelings.
That's why I'm grumpy. And now again in 2018. I am not denying this affair because it was paid hush money, because I was paid hush money, as it has been reported in overseas-owned tabloids. I am denying this affair because it never happened. I will have no further comment on this matter. Please feel free to check me out on Instagram. A quick plug there.
Yeah, that's the first thing I thought.
Out on Instagram at the Stormy Daniels.
Yeah, it's like it never really happened, but while you're there, just check out my channel.
Thank you. Signed by Stormy Daniels.
Yeah. Is it signed? Can you see a signature? Like,
yeah.
If you zoom out or anything, is there a signature?
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, doesn't matter.
There's definitely a signature on.
Yeah.
It's just
there we go.
Bit cropped out. Yeah.
Is that the same? Is that the same letter that has been shown? I thought it was a lot longer. The letter that she wrote and signed.
No,
is that the only one?
That's the only one that I know of. Yeah.
I thought it was longer.
Yeah. Okay. Let's just jump out of X here. It's because the current case has got nothing to do with the affair at all. Like
Correct.
you said. Yeah.
That's where people are getting not their wires crossed, but people are getting caught up in the moral issue of it, which is understandable, but that's not what's on trial.
Yeah. But they're talking about the hush money, so it's the payments.
So basically, there's always that question of, well, why would you give somebody hush money if you didn't do anything wrong? But at the same time, the guy's running for office and he really just needs all the white noise to disappear so that he's able to put his campaign forward without having to, all that stuff going on in the background. So at the same time, you can kind of understand why he would want that to stop. There's that side of it. And then, that's where now he has never denied paying it, or he's never denied that she was paid. So
it's the way it was.
It was the way it was paid. So it's basically the way it appears allegedly is that he basically asked his lawyer, to pay her himself, and then he would repay the lawyer, and he's done that through the books, which then affects his business accounting. So that's fraudulent behaviour. So that's my understanding. There may be a slightly different interpretation out there, but that's basically the foundation of it. Now, his lawyer is also saying that that's exactly how it happened. So he's actually a witness for the prosecution. So,
But in was it a defamation case that Stormy Daniel lost against Trump?
Yeah. So.
Go on.
Yeah. So she originally said that they had an affair. And then she changed her story, and then him denying having. Well, at the time that she was still saying it had happened, he was denying that, and she was saying that him accusing her of lying is defamation. So then she tried to sue him, and then when she couldn't prove that they had an affair. That meant basically that he wasn't really lying. So she lost the case. And then she had to pay $500,000 worth of legal fees, and they came after her at a later date for about another $130,000 or something.
Correct, yeah. So 630,
yeah.
All up, yeah.
So,
which she still hasn't paid, apparently.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay. So, so basically, it's hard to say that means the affair didn't happen, because that's not what was on question. What was on question was character, because she said it happened and he denied that, so she was calling him out for having denied it. So basically saying that he's lying and it's a defamation issue. So that's where it all sort of stands. Now that's where Trump's now able to say, well, we've been to court over all of this. We had you took a defamation claim against me. We proved that You had no right to do that because what I said was factual. So as far as I'm concerned, we never had an affair. So that's where his stance is on that. But that's a separate issue to what they're in court for now.
Correct. Misdemeanor charges originally. What's his name? D.A. Alvin Braggs.
Alvin Braggs,
yeah. Who has a reputation of, I think it was like 63% of his cases, knocking him down from felonies to misdemeanors. These ones are basically bookkeeping issues, were misdemeanors and they've been elevated to felony. How's that? How does that even work?
Well, I feel like that was out of anger because he originally was bringing this case into court and he dropped the case. I'm trying to remember who it was that pressured him. Someone pressured him back into taking the case back up. So there was a lull in the middle where this whole thing had been dropped because this has been they've been trying to bring this case for a while, and a lot of people just walked away from it and didn't want anything to do with it. And he initially was one of those people, and then I don't think it was the American. I don't think it was. Oh, sorry, I can't think who it was now. But someone pressured him, basically called him soft and a coward. Yeah. And then he said, "Okay, well, I suppose I better do something about it." So he then, pursued the charges, and I think that's when he said, "Right, well, if I'm going to do this, I'll do it properly," and upped the charges to a felony. So the difference there, I'm not totally all over American law. Someone might be able to correct me, but my understanding is that if it's a felony charge, that's why there would be jail time.
Correct, which is what they're pushing for.
Yeah, as opposed to a misdemeanor.
Exactly. But, I mean, we're talking about bookkeeping here.
I know. Look, whether you believe he didn't do it, whether you believe that if you believe that he did and you don't care, or you believe that he did and you think that that's wrong and it's abhorrent and he shouldn't be running for office, whatever you believe on that level, it's irrelevant to the case hearing. And a case hearing like this with that sort of amount of money and it's just shuffling numbers on paper. I can't believe that it's
a lot of legal scholars are saying this is just another sham, like all these other indictments. For me, it's $130,000, which is, for us, little people, it's a lot of money. But for Trump, it's
lunch.
It's exactly, with maybe some sauce on his steak. You know? But D.A. Alvin has taken it to court, and the judge has come up with some strange decisions lately with it as well. First day of the court case, which happened a few days ago, they couldn't find any jurors. They couldn't find any unbiased jurors. He also said that he's not allowed to miss a single day in court, and they've scheduled this for 6 weeks. So that's 6 weeks of Trump not being able to campaign. And of course, he's screaming election interference.
Don't forget that's just scheduling. These things run over, so that 6 weeks could turn into 3 months.
Correct.
So it doesn't mean it has to be resolved by then. That's the expected time allotted. But don't forget too that we're like in New York. I can't remember the statistics, but there's some ridiculous amount of cases that are not being brought to court because they're in such a backlog, and so certain things take priority. So there's people that have been in jail since like 2021 waiting for hearings on different things. The only things they sort of push forward are murders and things like things that need to make very urgent decisions, and they're pushing all that aside for this. And it's like, I can't believe they're allocating time for this when there are so many other cases out there that are really important cases, and we're worried about a bit of bookkeeping. So I don't know. It feels like a bit of a witch hunt, as always.
Oh, absolutely. Because one of the biggest things, and it seems to be a constant thread through all of these indictments, is all the charges have been novel charges. They're not like, okay, you've stolen $500,000 and we've got you on it. They're bookkeeping errors, or laws that were passed back in 1880 that they're trying to enforce now. Or in the RICO cases, where who's that? Letitia James, where that was originally designed for the mafia, to trace their money, and they used those laws to catch on to Trump. But the fact that he said it's going to last 6 weeks and you're allowed to take a single day off. Trump next week has got the court hearing for his the immunity case in the Supreme Court. And the judge has said, if you go anywhere near that, you will be put in jail.
Yeah.
And he also has his son's Barron's graduation day.
Yeah.
Now, from what I've seen from other commentators, this is pretty standard stuff in the fact that the judge would usually say, yeah, no worries, take the day off because we're here 6 weeks, we can reschedule whatever, and then you can do what you need to do.
Yeah.
But in this case, with this particular judge, he has to be there every day. And to me, it's saying, you're going to be here, you're not going to be campaigning. That's, to me, everything's about election interference. For
yeah,
me.
yeah. I think, is it Tuesday as well that he's got... I'll come back to that. But I think with Barron, with graduation, I reckon Trump should just go.
I'm kind of with you on that one.
Because I just reckon, I mean, what they don't understand is every time they come after Trump, they just give him more power.
Yeah.
Every time they do these sorts of things, he just walks away. You can say he's Teflon, and you can say, it doesn't matter what your stance is, even if you're anti-Trump and you honestly believe that the guy should be buried, you've still got to admit that every time this stuff happens, he gets more empowered. They're screwing up by doing these sorts of things.
Correct.
And I honestly believe that if he takes that day and goes, you know what, to the court system, I'm going, my son's more important than any of this, the Americans are going to go nuts. They're going to back him.
He'll win
so
a lot
much
of brownie
more.
points over that. Yeah.
Yeah, that just adds so much credibility to his character,
That'll totally screw up their narrative.
Yeah.
Like you said, every time he gets indicted, he wins more supporters. And when you turn this situation to a more personal level, all of a sudden people are going to go, "Oh right, okay, you're being a bit harsh, Mr. Judge.
Yeah.
Don't do this." And give him his day off with his family.
Yeah.
Which in any other normal case, yes, that's what would happen.
Yeah.
And we're talking about the Supreme Court as well. He has his constitutional right to be there. About his immunity case.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, he may or may not win. That's irrelevant. It's just he should have the right to actually be there.
Represent himself.
And
be there.
This little, low-tier judge is saying that, no, you can't miss a single day with me.
Yeah, he thinks he's more important than the Supreme Court.
Correct, yeah.
So, yeah.
What are you going to do? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I personally would love to see him give him the middle finger and, do it.
Yeah, I think he should. I genuinely think he should, I think that's what a lot of people are going to think, well, if it was me, I'd just go. It's my son,
Do you think the judge would actually put him in jail for that?
Who knows? Can you imagine the repercussions if he did? The people would lose their mind.
Yeah, because they're already biased. They're trialling this in New York. I think it's Manhattan. So he's not going to get a fair trial. I mean, first day they couldn't find anybody that was unbiased.
Yeah. I think he want to move it to Staten Island or something.
Yeah.
So, he's going to get more support. But I think the system works slightly different there as well in other ways that might benefit him. But, I don't know. So we both, support Trump. We both think he's the better of a bunch of bad evils.
Oh, absolutely,
But
unless
regardless
he can
of
walk
his
upstairs.
Yeah, that's true.
Or fall off a bike.
But regardless of what you think of the guy, which side of the fence you sit on, what a precedent we're setting. He's the first president to go to trial for something like this, and are we now saying the gloves are off? Because if we are, wasn't it time we dragged Joe Biden in for all the things like, didn't he spend $2 million worth of donor money for legal fees just
correct.
recently?
Yeah, correct. Correct.
What happened to the laptop? What happened to all these other things that we just go, they're high-positioned political figures, maybe we shouldn't go after them, but we'll go after Trump for this. Now, whether you think that's right or wrong, are we setting a precedent? Are we finally lowering the bar and saying, well, you're not immune from this just because of who you are? And if that's the case, well, then that's the only thing that I see that's coming out of this that's good, because now if the gloves are off, well, they're all screwed.
The problem with the Republicans, the Conservatives, they don't fight back. They don't have that same drive to win. They keep on going, oh, no, it's okay, we don't want to cause any problems, it's okay, we won't, bite back and that type of thing. And look where we are now, we've totally been trampled on. because of that attitude.
Yeah.
With Biden and his money, it's all good if he can, if he spends his donation money on his legal fees. But like you said, Trump does it. It's it's news and it's, indictments. The guy's got 4 cases going at the moment. 90 whatever it is charges. Most of them have already been thrown out of court. A whole bunch were thrown out because of statute of limitations, and also the fact that it's just non-stop, and it's all happening this year in the election year.
Yeah,
they've had 3-4 years, or even during his term, to bring all this forward. But it kind of just happened now,
Yeah, that's what I mean. So that's what I was saying before about the legal system and the amount of cases that are backed up. They could have waited a little longer and put other cases ahead of this that are more important, but they didn't. They chose to do this now. And the timing is that he'll come out of this roughly a month before the election. So it definitely feels like a hatchet job. Like, no matter, you've got to see that no matter which side of the fence you sit on, because they're basically tying his hands and saying, you have to be here every single day for this. So, we'll let you have Wednesday to campaign. It's like, what's he supposed to do?
Yeah.
So,
correct.
like, it takes him off the road. It takes him, puts him back in a little box, except for one day a week, and right up until a month before the election. But then, look, at the end of the day, if Joe Biden can do it from his basement, then,
I've always been in the camp that people didn't vote for Biden, they voted against Trump.
I totally agree. I totally agree. But you see my point. He didn't go touring around the country. He did it all from his basement and told everybody that if you don't vote for me, you ain't black.
And when he when he did tour, there was a car park with huge circles and one person in each circle, and a total of 12 people.
It was like going to a Dylan Mulvaney presentation. It's like 10 people.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
So no, but I think that's the difference. Trump's always out there on the road and campaigning, and I think they're just trying to tie his hands. That's how it feels.
Absolutely. And they've done it on so many fronts. If one loses, they've got another backup. That one loses, they've got another backup as well. Yeah. And not only that, not to tie up his time, but also to tie up his finances, which is what they did with Tisha James. And that court case with the Trump Towers and so forth, with Mar-a-Lago valuation. And so they're just trying to tie him up on so many fronts to basically incapacitate him being able to campaign. Yeah. And he's ahead in the polls. I think actually Biden caught up a couple of points recently in the last week or so, but he's pretty much ahead in everything, including swing states. Yeah. And if this continues the way it is, he'll be even further ahead. I can see it coming, because that's what happens every time they do this sort of stuff. So I think these people have estimated the people in a lot of ways. They expected them to be totally ignorant of what's happening and assume that the bad media all these years, they will be on their side. People will be going, okay, I believe everything CNN has said. But the proof is CNN has died. Their ratings, they've lost like 80% of their ratings. So people are tuning out. They know that there's a lot of BS happening. Didn't Brian Stelter leave? He got sacked. Yeah, so did Don Lemon. Is that why nobody watches it anymore? Because those two amazing characters were the highlight of the show? No. Hang on, are we talking about the news network? I thought it was a comedy network. Brian Stelter, what's his name? Everyone calls him Potato Head. Yeah, Potato Head. He had a viewership of like 300,000 or something. It was extremely low. Yeah, it was terrible. Did you remember Mark Dice? No. Oh, Mark Dice, he was brilliant. Mark Dice used to have his own show, and he used to host his own little YouTube show from his kitchen, and he had more viewers than. And he used to give Brian Stelter such a hard time. Yeah, I'm not surprised. And you know what? When he actually left CNN, he went to one of the universities to teach media. Really? Yeah. Was it something about news? Fake news, and I think he was addressing that type of topic. Wow. That's what he was lecturing about. Well, he'd know. Propaganda. He'd know all about it, I'm sure. I literally saw him on X in an interview today for the first time in probably probably this year, to be honest.
Yeah.
Apart from in a couple of memes that other people have been coming up with, but that's the first time I've seen him come up. Yeah. So that's a bit of a disaster.
Yeah.
But of course, Trump is not going to be silent when he leaves the courtroom. So we've got a bit of a clip here from when he walked out of the courtrooms. It's a couple of minutes long, and he talks about, of course, everybody.
We had some amazing things happen today. As you know, my son is graduating from high school, and it looks like the judge will not let me go through the graduation of my son, who's worked very, very hard. He's a great student. I'm very proud of the fact that he did so well. And I was looking forward for years to have graduation with his mother and father there. And it looks like the judge isn't going to allow me to escape this scam. It's a scam trial. If you read all of the legal pundits, all of the legal scholars today, there's not one that I see that said this is a case that should be brought or tried. It's a scam. It's a political witch hunt. It continues, and it continues forever. And we're not going to be given a fair trial. It's a very, very sad thing. In addition, as you know, next Thursday, we're before the United States Supreme Court on a very big hearing on immunity. And this is something that we've been waiting for a long time. And the judge, of course, is not going to allow us. He's a very conflicted judge. And he's not going to allow us to go to that. He won't allow me to leave here for a half a day, go to D.C. and go before the United States Supreme Court because he thinks he's superior, I guess, to the Supreme Court. We got a real problem with this judge. We have a real problem with a lot of things having to do with this trial, including the DA, because you go right outside and people are being mugged and killed all day long, and he's sitting here all day with about 10 or 12 prosecutors over nothing. Over nothing. Over what people say shouldn't be a trial. So I just want to thank you very much, but that I can't go to my son's graduation, or that I can't go to the United States Supreme Court, that I'm not in Georgia or Florida or North Carolina campaigning like I should be. It's perfect for the radical left Democrats. That's exactly what they want. This is about election interference. That's all it's about. Thank you very much.
Trump's gone to Trump, isn't he? Yeah. Well, I think one of the big things in this little snippet that he's done is humanise himself. He's really brought it down to a relationship between him and his son, which is a great play. Not that I'm saying it's a play. I think he's genuinely, upset that he can't spend time at his son's graduation. Yeah. And he actually did something really smart over the last few days. At a couple of his last rallies, he's said to Biden, let's debate. I'm waiting to debate. He's really confronting him now. And it's up to the Biden camp to say yay or nay now. The ball's in their court, Yeah. He's out for him, Yeah. And I totally agree. I mean, this is his son's graduation. Why would you miss that,
I know, yeah. I don't think he will. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes.
Well, I hope he does.
Yeah. If he goes to jail at the end of all of this, if he's found guilty and he goes to jail, who do you reckon is going to take his place?
Who's left?
Feels like there's nobody left.
Nikki Haley was the last one to pull out of the primary race, so she's probably next in line. Is that how it works? I'm not 100% sure.
I don't know if it's in line per se. It's about who's willing to step up. But I'm just wondering who do you think might be a contender?
To me, Nikki Haley just reeks of Hillary Clinton. Not interested in her. Vivek Ramaswamy, I like him. He's awesome. DeSantis, great governor. Forget about him. I think he's not ready to be president at this stage. Out of all of those, Vivek for me, but Vivek was polled the least out of all of them.
Yeah.
He was always in single digits. Nikki Haley polled majority of the time higher than DeSantis, Ron DeSantis. So, but what do they do next? Do they just grab somebody out of nowhere?
That's right. Well, we don't even know who's going to be his VP.
At this stage, correct,
Yeah. Interesting.
I think Lauren Bobbitt was named at one stage or so. I can't remember now. But there's names being thrown around left, right, and
Candace
centre.
Owens.
Oh, she hasn't got time. She's busy fighting with Shapiro.
Yeah, Ben Shapiro. Yeah, well, there was so many memes. I think it was probably about a year ago.
Yeah.
There was so many memes going around that she should be the VP. So yeah, I would agree with that. She'd make a great VP, I reckon. Yeah.
Did you hear about The Rock recently?
The Rock. No,
Rock.
what's he doing now?
He last election 2020, he actually endorsed Biden. Right. This time around, he's turned around and said, "I'm not endorsing anybody this time around." And the proverbial poo hit the fan.
Yeah, wow.
All the lefties have gone, "Oh, you weak mongrel! You know, you need to support Biden and all that." But I don't blame him. I mean, let's face it. You know what the mess the country's in. So he's not endorsing anybody.
So how old's Biden now?
He's 80...
87?
No, he's not that old. I think he's 82. He's only 2 or 3 years older than Trump.
Yeah, okay.
Trump's 79, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
I don't think he's hit 80, which means even if he gets elected, he's going to be in his 80s. You know, when he
It's
finishes.
funny how old. I'm just picturing in my head how old Biden would be if he got in again. How old would he be at the end of his term?
Oh.
If he lives that long.
I'm pretty sure he's.
I wish you no ill, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I'm pretty sure he's like around 82, so it means 86, 87.
Yeah.
I mean, he's struggling now.
Yeah,
I mean, let's be honest about this.
Like I've said countless times before, I feel sorry for the guy. Just let him go and, wish he knew how to play table tennis or something.
You can almost say it's elder abuse because they drag him up and push him out in front of the podium.
I'm sure he just wants to go somewhere, sit on a beach, have an ice cream.
Sorry, he does that 40% of the time now.
That's right.
He's taking more holidays than anybody.
He doesn't really do anything. He's just, front man. You just let him go and eat ice cream and sniff children's hair like he wants to do. Poor old bugger.
Yeah, I know. I mean, and in case you didn't get it,
you're a meme.
During
What?
during the, and we forgot to mention this one actually, the huge uproar in Israel at the moment with the Iran striking, sending all the drones and all the missiles. When that started to happen, he finished up at 5:45 that evening and went on holidays. I mean, really? Come on,
That's politicians, though. How many times have we had conversations about other politicians who've done pretty much the same thing? So we talked a few weeks ago about Alice Springs, remember?
Yeah, correct.
With Albo
turning up for 4 hours.
For 4 hours and going on a 3 days, holiday to go and watch the tennis.
Yeah, exactly.
So
they're not helping us, so we've got to help ourselves.
I know, like any person in any high pressure position's got to have a break once in a while, but timing. Timing is everything visually. And, what sort of pressure really is Biden under? Just got to turn up each day. That's right. Get told what he's got to say and get to go home and have ice cream.
Off camera, we were talking about his team and the employment of his team because when Trump started off, he would hire a bunch of people, then fire them. If they weren't doing the job, he would fire them.
Yeah.
Okay? So he went through a bit of staff. Sadly, a lot of the people that he trusted turned turncoat on him, which was a bit of a mess. I think that was his biggest mistake in his administration. He just ended up picking bad people. Whereas Biden, the majority of it, though he did lose a handful of people right at the start, have stuck around. And the great thing that we talked about was the fact the reason they stuck around is because they're the ones that actually run the country.
They're the ones in control.
It's not Biden. So if these people move on, what's Biden going to do? You know?
That's right.
He's going to be like, the Thunderbird puppet.
They're kind of like those annoying grandkids waiting for Granddad to pass so they can get the house.
Just get the money,
Yeah, and
in the meantime, they're nice to him.
You've got to be nice to Granddad, Meanwhile, they can't stand him.
Yeah, correct.
Your teeth fell out about Granddad. Oh, that's all right. We'll help you. Let's brush them off and put them back in. Yeah. You'll be right.
Just push the chair forward.
Yeah, that's it. I'll feed you your soup, Granddad. You'll be right.
One of the big things that happens is because of the media that's been pushing all this negativity against Trump, and I think it was like 2019, they did a study and 99% of the media was negative against Trump. And that's created something that we call TDS, which is Trump Derangement Syndrome. And just some of the it broke a lot of people. It really shattered a lot of people. People like Mark Hamill, Rob Reiner. If you don't know who Rob Reiner is, he did Spinal Tap. And, I forget the other one, big movie, Princess Bride, which I love. I love both movies. I think Rob Reiner is very talented when it comes to movies. But he is so bad with Trump Derangement Syndrome. Every day he's posting something about Trump.
Yeah.
And he can't wait for him to go to jail and just these type of things.
Yeah, same as your other mate, De Niro.
Yeah, he wants to punch the president in the face. My God.
Yeah.
Madonna was just as bad because when Trump won, she said she was going to blow up the White House.
Yeah.
She has dreams about blowing up the White House. I think the FBI visited her about that.
I was going to say, I'm sure she got a visit,
Yeah.
because anyone else that said that would be in jail.
Yeah, correct. And who else is? The View. Oh my God, The View.
Let's not get
That's a
started on
comedy
that.
show. If you haven't seen The View, go check it out. They're a comedy show.
We're going to do an episode just on
Yeah.
that, or just on The View.
Just the things that they
ridiculous
said.
they are.
Sunny, what was it, Holton?
Yes, I think it's
Sunny
Holton. Yeah.
They had the full eclipse in the US last week. I think it
Yeah.
was Saturday our time or something.
Yeah.
And she actually linked the eclipse with climate change.
Yeah, she said it was because of climate change.
Climate
and,
change.
and Whoopi Goldberg had to call her out.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, she jumps in there. Oh, that's not quite right.
Yeah, they've been having eclipse for a long time.
They're absolute nutcases, some of the things. And the whole team there, and they even have the Republican conservative representative. She's the token one, and she's not. I think she's a Trump, never Trumper. And just some of the things they say are just off this planet.
Yeah.
Anyway, since we're talking about Trump Derangement Syndrome, I've got a handful of clips here because I really want to play them to you and show you just the sheer mentality of where they are. And we actually looked up before the show Biden derangement syndrome,
yeah.
and that exists as well.
It does, yeah.
But it's nowhere
Not as
near,
rife.
compared to this TDS. So, like I said, we've got a handful of clips we'll play for you, and we'll have a bit of commentary after it because they're just nuts. The things they say are just
extreme.
Absolutely nuts.
Voting for Joe Biden, they're voting against Donald Trump. That's the truth. He doesn't have supporters. He has people that hate. That's why they have to keep feeding this Trump derangement syndrome. You'll never see a cure for Trump derangement syndrome because they're never going to try to stop it. Those are the people that are voting for Biden, not his supporters.
Yes, it's a virus, but you can't treat it. You're exactly
Maybe Fauci
right.
will find a cure someday. People aren't voting for Joe Biden.
So that's an introduction to our TDS, okay?
Yeah.
That's basically why. So, of course, they just put together so many different... It's word salad most of the time when they start talking about derangement. So here's another one.
And I ended up becoming close to Kim Goldman. And I can tell you that even after
This is Sunny.
was killed, her brother, her brother Ron was killed, along with Nicole Simpson. And I remember how palpable, even to this day, that loss is for the family.
What was the tragedy part?
Well, for me, the tragedy was the injustice, in my opinion.
Which part? Which injustice?
The criminal trial. The fact that he was not found guilty.
Oh, yeah.
But he was found liable later,
Yes,
civilly.
like Trump is found liable for rape.
Yes, he was.
It's the same thing.
Well, everything goes back to Trump. He was
Until he's gone, I will not rest.
Liable for sexual assault. But
That is a perfect example.
Yeah.
They're talking about O.J. Simpson, and they threw Trump in there. You know?
Totally unrelated. Yeah.
All the time. They do that all the time. And I forget the Joy Reid, that the woman in the middle she was talking to. She's always kicking into Trump. Whoopi Goldberg as well. Talking about Whoopi, here she is again. Yeah.
Well, the Supreme Court won't hear oral arguments until the end of April. Now, let's look at a scenario where the Supreme Court says, yes, he has all those rights. He is immune from everything.
Yeah.
You know what Joe Biden could do since he is presently president?
What?
Whoa. He could throw every Republican in jail.
yeah,
I mean, he could.
Isn't that what they're doing?
Yeah, they're working their way through them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been doing that for the last number of years.
Yeah.
They tried to impeach him twice.
Yeah.
And people keep on saying, oh, yeah, but he was impeached. he was exonerated twice.
Yeah.
You know, they had nothing on him, so he won those ones.
That's right.
Yeah. So he's CNN, Jake Tapper. Now, I don't even know where to start with this guy. Same thing, and this is just the recent court case with Stormy Daniels. Now, they talk about Trump, but there's no evidence of it at this present stage. I personally don't believe it, because sadly, what's happening with the Stormy Daniels case is they're not televising it, and because it's so full of reporters, only certain reporters have been allowed in, and most of them have been the mainstream media.
Yeah.
So they don't get the conservatives in there, you know, that type of media. There was one particular guy who was furious they wouldn't let him in, even though he had a New York press pass, which is apparently a pretty high up, you know, credentials.
Especially in New York.
Yeah, that's right. They wouldn't allow him in. So the big thing is, how do we see and kind of oversee what's going on to make sure it's legit? Because the same thing happened with the Fani Willis court case. Because that was streaming, we saw all the issues that were happening, and then we could analyse it, and all the the lawyers, scholars, the legal scholars, they could then comment and say, okay, this is right, this is wrong. Whereas with the Stormy Daniels it's basically hearsay.
Yeah, we can only go by what they tell us.
Yeah, until they release the court transcript, we don't know.
Yeah, it was like everyone was saying on the first day that he fell asleep.
Yeah.
You know, so,
correct.
well, we don't know if he actually fell asleep.
Yeah.
Well,
this is what this little clip is covering right now. So let's have a look at that. And the reporter in this apparently has a really bad reputation of actually lying. So we'll see how we go with that one.
I have to ask, you guys have been, at the Times, have been live blogging this event. And 40 minutes ago, you wrote an observation that I was very surprised. Trump appears to be sleeping. His head keeps dropping down and his mouth goes slack. Tell us about that.
Well, Jake, he appeared to be asleep, and repeatedly his head would fall down. There have been other moments in other trials, like the E.G. Carroll trial, which was around the corner in January, where he appeared very still and seemed as if he might be sleeping, but then he would move. This time, he didn't pay attention to a note that his lawyer, Todd Blanche, passed him. His jaw kept falling on his chest, and his mouth kept going slack. Now, sometimes people do fall asleep during court proceedings, but it's notable given the intensity of this morning and a lot of what was being argued.
Yeah, that's rather surprising. What was...
In fact, hashtag Sleepy Don was trending.
Yeah, correct, yeah. And I saw so many people coming out and saying that, he's fallen asleep. And so far, all we heard is hearsay. I haven't seen any footage, any transcripts or anything.
Yeah.
For me, knowing MSM, I'm not believing it at this stage until I see the evidence.
Yeah.
I don't even think they're allowed to take photos. I think it's just those those
there was even
pencil drawings.
There was an MSNBC reporter who said that due to the high level of anxiety that he's going through, knowing that he's facing jail and that he's going to lose, etc., that he will no longer be able to run for president, all that pressure is what made him sleepy and made him fall asleep. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I don't know anybody. I've never met a person in my life who falls asleep because they're under pressure.
Yeah.
It's like usually
exactly.
Usually quite the opposite. You're under that much pressure. You're full of anxiety. Anxiety doesn't help you sleep.
Yeah. We both run businesses, so we're always, how do we solve this? What do we do?
That's right. I think I don't think he fell asleep, but if he did fall asleep, it's probably because he's bored, because this is just some...
they couldn't find a juror.
crap, he's stuck there in with some crap case that's not going to...
Correct, yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you've also got to understand, right, that being a hatchet job, right, which I feel it is, it doesn't really matter if they win. They don't care if they win. This is their way of just tying him up for a few months, making him look bad, to try and sway the election. So even if there's any truth to any of this, that'll all come out as the proceedings move along. But even if there isn't enough evidence and they can't actually charge him, they've still achieved what they wanted, which was to slow the whole thing down and make him look bad to people.
Oh, that's what they're all about. Every case that he has is all about, pulling him out of the system effectively.
Yeah. So even if they lose, it's still a win.
Do you think if after election he's gone, oh, I was president, that's enough for me, I'll just retire and go play golf?
Well, that's
do you
what
think
I
they would
said.
have chased him?
That's what I said a while ago. I think when I asked you, what do you think he'll do? I think it was a couple of episodes ago, and we were discussing exactly that. And I said that I think, I have no real idea of whether he'll do anything. You said you think he'll keep doing other things in the background that relate to politics. I kind of feel like, I don't know, like I said, if he'd had 8 years straight, this would be a different scenario, because 4 years and then a break and then 4 years, he hasn't got the momentum to do some of the things he initially wanted to
correct.
do. And then there's big setbacks. Like they'll be actively working against any policy that he wants to put into place. So they'll be creating barriers for when he comes back, basically. So I don't know. At the end of that 4 years, if he gets back in, he may walk away. He may just go, well, stick a fork in it. America's done, and go and live in another country or something.
When he ran again in 2020 for his second term, he's the first incumbent president to actually get more votes in his second term, and he still lost. Because I think he was up by 20 to 30 million votes for his second term. But then Biden came in with, I think it was 81 million votes all up or something. And Trump lost. I personally feel, the guy's really fighting for the country, because, he could have just said, no, I've done my, presidency, I'll just go play golf. But he didn't. He came back and fought. But his greatest weapon in this election is he has a record. And it's a good record, because people were making money, no new war started, and basically the country was very, very well run. Whereas Biden has come in, we've had inflation, we've got wars left, right and centre, it's all just falling apart. I think, goods have gone up like 33% or something, 37%, somewhere around there. Fuel's gone up. It's full transparency, it's dropped now. It's hit its peak and it's dropped now, but it's still above to what it was when Biden took over.
And I know we're here in Australia, and we sometimes think that there's a disconnect, but in reality, when America sneezes, we catch a cold. So that's just how it is. We're part of Western society, and America being a superpower, when things happen there like that, like inflation, it affects us all. So right around the Western part of the globe.
Yeah, correct. So he's got a great track record, and I've heard them, pulling the promos saying that, putting forward the promos saying that, oh look, remember how good it was during my term, and it's true. It was better on so many levels. So anyway, one of my favourite people is actually Mark Hamill. I love Star Wars because I'm a big sci-fi geek. I personally think he's a really nice guy. Because some of the posts that I see, I follow him on X, and I see a lot of his posts. He's always talking to his fans. He's wishing them happy birthday and things like that. And he does surprise visits. So to me, he comes across as a really nice guy. But since
he was great in the Jay and Silent Bob movie.
I don't remember him in there.
Cock Knocker.
Oh, I don't remember him.
You don't remember?
No, I don't remember that movie much. Was that
really?
Long ago.
There was like 3 movies. I think it was the Jay and segue. Jay and Silent Bob Go to Hollywood, I think it was called, and Mark Hamill plays a character called Cock Knocker.
I don't remember that at all.
Yes, you heard me right. And he's got these giant hands, and he punches people in the groin. Yeah, he's funny in that. Yeah. Carrie Fisher was in it too.
Oh, really? Jeez. So, I don't remember it anymore. It was that long ago. I think I saw it when I first came out, and then kind of forgot about it. So like I was saying, he's done some great stuff. He's probably the best voice ever for Joker in all the animated series. Of course, we know him as Luke Skywalker until they destroyed him in the last couple of movies, destroyed his character. But he suffers from TDS. But of course he does. So we'll head over to X once again, and this is a tweet that he put up. People complaining about my anti-Trump tweets need to understand. I love my country. I feel it's my duty to oppose this demented social path with every fibre of my being.
It's a big claim, isn't it?
Yeah.
Demented social path.
I look at it and I can't see how they connect the dots. how they get it. Because before he was elected, they said he was going to destroy, the stock market. He was going to create new wars, and all these things that he said he didn't do. Biden has done that now, and yet they still keep on looking at him and going, "He's the Antichrist."
Yeah.
How? How do you connect the dots? Who else was there? Try and remember. Just give me a sec here. There was. Oh, actually, let's play this next X clip, because she kind of creates the best ad ever for Trump, even though she's trying to, demean Trump. Let's have a look at this one. It's a couple minutes long, this one.
Wonder what Trump will actually do if he gets back into office? You don't have to speculate, because he calls his plan Agenda 47, and spoiler alert, it's scary as shit. Here are some of the worst ideas we're in store for if he wins in November. 1. Attacking immigration. Trump's anti-immigration policies will be even worse the second time around. He's promised to end birthright citizenship, enlist an army to round up and deport millions of undocumented immigrants, and deploy thousands of U.S. troops to the southern border. 2. Criminalizing LGBTQIA plus Americans. Trump says he'll ban gender-affirming care for trans kids and prevent schools from helping kids through their transition. He wants to forbid schools from even teaching anything about sex and gender that diverges from the far-right's idea of the nuclear family. 3. Overhauling education. Agenda 47 includes huge changes to the education system. He wants to give huge benefits for homeschooling to indoctrinate kids with Christian nationalism, incentivize teachers to carry guns in their classrooms, further crack down on affirmative action, and destroy crucial DEI departments at colleges and universities. 4. Restoring racist crime policies. Criminal legal system reform will be off the table if Trump becomes president. He promised to bring back racist policies like stop and frisk and other ineffective and discriminatory tough-on-crime tactics that have failed in the past. He also wants to increase protections for power-abusing police while rolling back hard-fought-for reforms and institute the death penalty for low-level crimes like drug dealing. 5. Weaponizing the government. The scariest part might be Trump's threat to more or less dismantle the federal government. If he gets back in office, he's going to purge anyone who could possibly stand up to him and replace them with MAGA loyalists like Stephen Miller. He's going to prosecute his political enemies using traditionally independent orgs like the DOJ as his own personal weapon, and give himself unprecedented power over agencies like the FCC and FTC. These are just the things he wants you to know about. Trump has plenty of regular crazy stuff in Agenda 47 too, like how he wants to found new freedom cities across the country and somehow give Americans access to flying cars. The whole thing is weird as hell, like everything Trump does, but there's nothing funny about Agenda 47 or the possibility that he might be president again. Wonder what Trump...
Is there anything there you disagree with?
Well, to be honest, there is one or two.
Yeah.
But I don't like the idea of giving teachers guns.
The majority of the shootings have been at gun-free zones.
I know, but it's a lot of pressure to put on a teacher to say, here's a gun, so next time someone walks in here with, a semi-automatic weapon, it's up to you to shoot
give them a gun, they train them.
No, but I think it's a lot of pressure to put onto, I don't think you should be arming teachers.
I disagree.
That's okay. Yeah. We could touch on that in another time when we talk about semi-automatics and all that sort of stuff. But, but I see what you're saying, because to me, that's my view. But when you look at the view of the typical American, everything that she's saying there is what they want.
Yeah, exactly. I said, it's a great ad for Trump.
Yeah, it doesn't matter which side. Doesn't matter which side of the fence you sit on. I'm pretty neutral. Yeah. But it doesn't matter which side of the fence you sit on. That's all the things that Americans are screaming for.
Exactly, and they're talking about family values. Oh, hello, I mean, you were telling me recently, off camera once again, that about the father figure.
Yeah.
When you have a mother and a father figure. How did that go again?
Well, the father figure basically is the father and the mother, but the mother is a mother on her own. So a father figure, in my view, from my experiences, is a critical part of development for children, because things like wrestling and understanding boundaries are usually created by the father. So the mother is usually very nurturing. She's the nurturing side of the equation. So she wants to give them as much love as possible and support, etc. And all those things which are very, very important. It's a mixed balance. But fathers tend to be the ones that give the kids a hard time. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean, they give them a bit of shit, give them a bit of lip, get the banter happening and teach them about boundaries. You see 3-year-olds that are wrestling with their dad, and then also they punch the dad in the face, and the dad's like, whoa, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
And the kid goes, oh, that's not what I'm supposed to do. You know, so they help those kids to develop boundaries. So, you know, both, in my view, both roles are critical to raising a child, you know. And so, yeah, the family unit's very, very important.
Yeah. Well, the studies have shown that if there isn't a father figure in the family unit, you tend to have a lot of issues with the children, delinquents and so forth.
Yeah.
So, hence why the crime rate's so high in the USA. Because the majority of those the gangsters don't have a father figure.
Yeah.
Being alcoholics or whatever the situation is, they're not there.
And that's not necessarily tied to race. You know, some people think it's
Correct.
tied to race.
Yeah, correct.
It's not necessarily.
It's simply a father figure. That's all it is. Yeah. All right. Well, that was a bit of an interesting little TDS there. But you know what? We've got some movies here to go through.
We
now,
do.
You've picked a couple of movies which I've never heard of, actually.
I have a tendency to do that. So, don't ask me how these came to me because I don't even know. I was just sort of flicking around the other day and these couple of previews popped up, and I thought, well, before I started watching, I thought, actually, I watched the first few seconds, I thought, that actually looks really good, so why don't we do that on the show? So the first one I saw was You Can't Run Forever.
Right.
Now, as usual, I pick these things. I go, let's watch this, and I don't know anything about it. So don't expect me to tell you. Don't expect me to tell you
knew about it.
The studio, who's in it, nothing. You know me. I take movies on their own merit, and I pay very little attention to who's in them and who made them, and that's your domain.
All I can tell you is May the 17th is due out, and just going by the little spiel here on YouTube, it has got J.K. Simmons, who's a favourite of mine. I think he's really good.
Yep.
He was in Spider-Man. He played quite a few characters there. Who else has got? A lot of the other names I haven't. Olivia Simmons? Could it be his daughter? I don't know. No idea. But let's play the preview because that's all I know about it.
Yep.
I don't even know what it's about other than the title, which is You Can't Run Forever. Is it a horror? Does it sound like a horror?
I think it's a guy who just likes to run.
No, we watched...
it's a thriller. Let's just watch it and see.
All right, let's go check it out. Oh, music sounds good already.
Survival. Continuing longer than another person or thing. You got to take risks. The key is to stay in the game. Survival of the fittest. You're either predator or you're prey. My wife.
Where is she now?
Where I left her.
Is this a murder mystery or something?
Oh, I think it's a thriller.
He's being accused of murder or something?
I don't know. But it's looking good already.
I'm liking.
It's got a good vibe. I go off the vibe. The first, even if there's no dialogue, the first 10 or 15 seconds of the vibe is what always draws me in. So straight away the music, the feel, bang, this feels good.
Yeah, it really feels like a nice little drama, a little thriller, as you said.
Yeah.
Miranda, she's been through so much. Talk to her.
I know things haven't been easy. We all just want you to be happy. I don't know. It's just... What do you want?
Eddie!
Oh.
Why is he following me?
So he's the bad guy?
Apparently.
Or
is he? We don't know. We know there could be a plot twist.
I'm going to call him the bad guy.
But it seems like it. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, just driven up to a family and starts
just
shooting.
randomly. Like the other guy didn't seem to know him. So.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm intrigued. I want to know.
What's wrong with you?
911. My name is Miranda Cooper. I'm lost in the middle of the woods. I need help. Hello?
Miranda.
Oh my God, he knows my name. He's coming.
I'll be your new daddy.
There's a crazy man. We have to run. Let's go.
Does this man look familiar to you?
Still no word on Miranda?
It's not safe to go into the woods.
He's armed and dangerous.
We're organizing their search party.
Where is she?
Calm down, Benny. She's not alone.
She's just a little girl.
That's got me hooked. It's looking really, really good.
Yeah.
It seems like he has a beef with them for some reason.
Yeah.
Or did they just pick somebody random?
Well, he knows her name, so it's not random. Because that's what she was
wonder
saying.
what she
He knows
did.
my name. She's saying to the police.
Right,
on the phone,
okay.
He knows my name.
And anyone he comes across, he just blows away.
Yeah.
Oh, nice gentleman.
It's on some sort of vendetta.
And he's a teacher. So anyway, we'll talk about army teachers.
Yeah.
I just
That's not what I was talking about.
I just have a different view on that now.
There you go. Yeah. I'm not saying you were right.
Dead little girl. I don't have to run faster than the man-eating tiger. I just have to run faster than you. Keep moving.
True.
Before anybody can figure out what you're doing.
Oh, no.
Thank you for the thrill of the chase and for the glorious day ahead.
He's right behind me!
Why are you doing this?
Does it matter?
You look at it and shoot you.
Like this?
Wow.
Yeah, looks good.
Next month. Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good. You know that old joke that he was referring to, don't you?
Which one?
Well, the two kids running through the forest, and then they walk along through the forest, and all of a sudden they see a tiger.
Oh, yeah.
And the first one freezes, and the second one gets his backpack and changes his shoes and puts his runners on. And his mate says, "You dickhead, you're not going to outrun a tiger." He goes, "You're the dickhead. I only have to outrun you."
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Oh, wow, that looks really good, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a guy, for some reason, is chasing me. Was she a student there at his school? I'm trying to work this out because I want to come back here.
But it seemed like he was also talking to the mother on the phone at one stage. He was saying something to the mother, and she was answering.
He must have been her teacher.
Yeah, and he was saying to her, she's not alone or something.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It seems like a good twist going on in there because I can't get my head around it. So it's good.
Oh,
it's
okay,
good.
excellent.
I love it. I actually like him. I
Yeah.
like him like that when it's got a huge vibe and lots of action and good. Feels like good characters, but you can't quite pick the story because. Sometimes you watch these things and you go, you know what's going to happen because I saw it in the preview.
Or you have absolutely no idea.
Yeah.
And then when you watch the trailer, you go to see the movie, it's totally different. It's got nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Which is apparently Civil War that was released.
Oh, that got some bad reviews,
It got some great reviews.
Oh, did it?
No,
I
it's going up. It's
Yeah.
made its money back. It's doing really
That's
well.
unusual
And the thing
for
is,
Hollywood.
apparently if you go in wanting to take a side, you will. If you don't, and it's because apparently it's a story of the journalists. You know, them getting from A to B. A bit controversial at the end of it, but otherwise, it's getting great reviews.
Okay.
And apparently, the trailer of that gives you the impression it's all about war between the
and race.
Yeah, and it's not. It's actually not. It's about, like I said, about the journey of these journalists.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. I just helped you. I just told you the truth of the movie. Yeah.
Well, if you haven't seen it by now, get onto it. It's not our fault.
Yeah, well, I haven't seen it either, so we've got to watch it as soon as possible. Yeah. All right, so we'll get on to the second movie that young Pinky has chosen. This one's it's a bit down more my alley, which is sci-fi.
Yeah, now I don't know if it's pronounced Razor.
I reckon it is RZR.
I reckon it would be.
Yeah.
But
I reckon it would be.
Yeah. Sounds like a great license plate.
It's a sci-fi thriller, a cyberpunk dystopian world of neural implants. Right down my alley. Because I'm a big fan of post-apocalyptic scenarios.
And I'm sure
all right.
Elon Musk has had his hand in it somewhere.
And here we go.
Video entry 432. Time. 06:25. Been up all night reworking the comms to sustain neural connectivity. Can't afford another failed craniotomy. If I fail again.
That looked a bit like the movie Saw. You know, the head traps that they were doing.
You know what it also reminded me of? The Logan's Run, the original one, when they've got the laser and they're doing the surgery on his face. Remember that?
Yeah. No, I remember that. Yeah, that was a great movie.
Yeah, it was classic.
The results could be dire.
You need to get over here right now. He just had another seizure.
How many holes are you gonna drill in your head before the only monument they put your name on is a tombstone?
I have to do this, and I need your help. What I've created is the next evolution of mankind. A colossal leap in brain-computer interfacing. It will reshape humanity. It will change everything.
This kind of tech that certain people would kill for if they could access it.
You and Zelsi are the only ones I trust.
I know how important this is to you. I'm just saying, at what cost?
So what are they doing? They're expanding the size of the brain?
I don't know. I think they're using, bio-interface. So,
turning him into
brain chip type
stuff. Turning him into couriers of some sort?
Maybe.
It sounds
they've done that before, though, where they've...
Johnny Pneumatic.
Yeah, Johnny Pneumatic.
Mnemonic,
Yeah,
sorry. Johnny Mnemonic.
Yeah, not Pneumatic,
Yeah.
that'd be...
that's right.
Johnny
Mnemonic.
Yeah. Which was, he was a courier, and how much he could...
That's right, yeah.
Take in the capacity.
And I think it was like 40 gigabit or something. we're way past that now.
Yeah, it was like 3K.
Yeah, that's right. That's a USB stick these days.
That's right.
But it was. It was almost 30 years ago.
Yeah, it was ahead of its
ago.
time when it comes to that sort of stuff,
Financial systems, social structures, hunger. We can bring tyrants to their knees.
Hackers are connected. We control 80% of the nodes on the grid because of loyalty and discipline.
Well, lucky for you, the devil wants a partner. Tell me about Marcus Grimm, also known as Razor.
That's a death warrant.
You're right.
You want me to wait for everybody to die or just you?
Bribe him or beat him, all gloves off. Marcus Grimm is officially an enemy of the state. Smoke him out.
They're coming after us, all of us.
Is there gonna be a later?
Hola, chico.
Is there any sun in this movie?
That's... In fact, it's very typical in sci-fi, but it's one of the things I don't like is that really dark, smoky...
Blade Runner-ish
thing.
Yeah,
even though it's not smoky, it feels almost like everything's out of focus. It's psychologically out of focus. I'm not a fan of that. I still enjoy the movie, but I've never been a fan of that.
Well, it's a TV series, I just realised.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it says TV series.
Different again.
Anyway, slightly digress there. One of the things that I find with these dystopian movies is they're always dark. They always seem to be dark. And I guess it's to convey that it's dystopian.
Yeah.
What better way then? I can't see anything.
I just don't like... When I'm watching it on the screen, I don't like it to be different to how it would seem to me in real life. Like if I was there in that room, they wouldn't look, washed out blue, and they wouldn't look grainy. They'd look crystal clear. So that's why it just loses the realism for me when they do that.
Cinematographers tend to use different palettes when they're filming different type of scenes. When they're after that cold, again, dystopian feel, they'll go for the blue tones. When they go to happier tones, they tend to go to browns and blues.
And yellows.
Yeah, exactly.
Warmer
Browns,
colours,
correct. All right.
You think you can burn me?
If it kills me, maybe it was worth it.
This says global premiere April the 14th.
Yep.
Has it started, or was it the trailer that was the global premiere? Because I haven't seen it come up anyway.
I haven't seen it come up yet.
Yeah, we'll have to check it out. That looks good. But that's my thing. That's, the things I
Yeah, that's more up your alley.
Yeah. I like things to be miserable.
Well, you are the grumpy old man.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Okay, we're pretty much done for this episode. That was a bit of a fun, interesting one.
Thanks for sticking with us. Yeah.
If you haven't had the chance, please subscribe and hit the like button.
Yep.
Now share the video. Sharing always helps. We're here on YouTube, on Rumble, and sometimes on X as well. So go check us out. Pinky, time to say goodbye.
That's
and
it.
good night.
See you later.
And from me, ciao.